Hi, my name is Lori Beck, and I am the Executive Director of Roundabout Productions. Welcome to our 5th annual production of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. This year probably has not been what any of us expected, and that makes it feel like this story is even more important than ever, whether we tell it on stage or online. Many, many thanks to this cast for their talent and their dedication and their long hours on Zoom and their sense of humor. We hope you enjoy the show, and as always, thank you so much for supporting us.
Masters in this hall, he used today, brought from o'er the sea, and ever are you pray. Lo, sing we clear, open our folk on earth, born is God's Son so dear. Sing we loud, God today hath poor folk raised, and cast down the proud.
Marley was dead to begin with. There's no doubt whatever about that. The register of his burial was signed by the clergyman, the clerk, the undertaker, and the chief mourner. Scrooge signed it, and Scrooge's name was good upon anything he chose to put his hand to. Old Marley was as dead as a doornail.
I don't know what there is particularly dead about a doornail. I might have been inclined myself to regard a coffin nail as the deadest piece of ironmongery in the trade. But the wisdom of our ancestors is in the simile, and my unhallowed hands shall not disturb it. You will therefore permit me to repeat emphatically that Marley was as dead as a doornail.
Scrooge knew it. Of course he did. How could it be otherwise? Scrooge and he were partners for I don't know how many years. Scrooge was his sole executor, his sole administrator, his sole assign, his sole friend, and his sole mourner. And even Scrooge wasn't too dreadfully cut up by the sad event.
Scrooge never painted out old Marley's name. There it stood for years above the warehouse door, Scrooge and Marley. The firm was known as Scrooge and Marley. Sometimes people new to the business called Scrooge, and sometimes Marley. He answered to both names. It was all the same to him.
Oh, but he was a tight-fisted hand at the grindstone, Scrooge. A squeezing, wrenching, grasping, scraping, clutching, covetous old sinner. Hard and sharp as flint, secret and self-contained, and solitary as an oyster. The cold within him froze his old features, stiffened his gait, made his eyes red and his thin lips blue. He carried his own low temperature always about with him. He iced his office in August and didn't thaw it 1 degree at Christmas.
Nobody ever stopped him in the street to ask him what it was o'clock. No man or woman ever in his whole life inquired the way to such and such a place of Scrooge. But what did Scrooge care? It was the very thing he liked, to edge his way around the crowded streets, warning all human sympathy to keep their distance.
One cold, bleak Christmas Eve, old Scrooge sat busy in his counting house.
Well, Merry Christmas, Uncle. God save you.
Humbug!
Christmas humbug, Uncle. You don't mean that, surely?
I do. Merry Christmas. What right have you to be merry? What reason have you to be merry? You're poor enough.
Come then, what right have you to be dismal? What reason to be morose? You're rich enough.
Bah, humbug!
Don't be cross, uncle.
What else can I be when I live in such a world of fools as this? Merry Christmas. Out upon Merry Christmas. What's Christmas time to you but a time for paying bills without money? A time for finding yourself a year older and not an hour richer. A time for balancing your books and finding every item in them dead against you. Why, if I could work my will, every idiot who goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips should be boiled with his own pudding and buried with a stake of holly through his heart, he should.
Uncle.
Nephew, keep Christmas in your own way and let me keep it in mine.
Keep it? But you don't keep it.
Let me leave it alone, then. Much good may it do you. Much good it has ever done you.
Well, I dare say there are many things which have done me good from which I have not profited. But I've always thought of Christmas time as a good time, as a kind, forgiving, charitable, and pleasant time. The only time I know of, in the long calendar of the year, when men and women seem by one consent to open their shut-up hearts freely, and to think of each other as if they were fellow passengers to the grave, and not another race of creatures bound up on other journeys. And therefore, uncle, thou wouldst never put a scrap of gold or silver in my pocket. I believe it has done me good, and it will do me good. And I say, God bless it.
Let me hear one more sound from you, sir, and you'll keep your Christmas by losing your situation. You're quite the powerful speaker, sir. I wonder you don't go into Parliament.
Don't be angry, uncle. Come, dine with us tomorrow.
I'll see you in hell first.
But why?
Why did you get married?
Because I fell in love.
Because you fell in love. Good afternoon.
Uncle, you never came to see me before that happened. Why give it as a reason for not coming now?
Good afternoon.
I want nothing from you. I ask nothing of you. Why cannot we be friends?
Good afternoon.
I am sorry. With all my heart to find you so resolute. We have never had any quarrel to which I have been a party, but I shall keep my Christmas humor to the last. So a very Merry Christmas, Uncle.
Good afternoon.
And a Happy New Year. And to you, Bob, a very Merry Christmas.
Oh, thank you, sir. Happy New Year.
Good afternoon. There's a fellow for you. 15 shillings a week and a wife and family, and he goes about talking about Merry Christmas. I'll retire to Bedlam.
Scrooge and Marley's, I believe. Have I the pleasure of addressing Mr. Scrooge or Mr. Marley?
Mr. Marley has been dead these 7 years. He died 7 years ago this very night.
We have no doubt his liberality is well represented in his surviving partner.
At this festive season of the year, Mr. Scrooge, it is more than usually desirable that we should make some slight provision for the poor and destitute who suffer greatly at the present time. Many thousands are in want of common necessary. Hundreds of thousands are in want of common comfort, sir.
Are there no prisons?
Plenty of prisons.
And the union workhouses, are they still in operation?
Oh, they are. I wish I could say that they were not.
The treadmill and the poor law are in full vigor then?
Both very busy, sir.
I'm very glad to hear it. I was afraid from what you said at first that something had occurred to stop them in their useful course.
Well, under the impression that they scarcely furnish Christian cheer of mind and body to the multitude, a few of us are endeavoring to raise a fund to buy some meat and drink and means of warmth to the poor. We choose this time because it is a time above all others when want is keenly felt and abundance rejoices. What shall we put you down for?
Nothing.
Oh, you wish to be anonymous? Oh,
I wish to be left alone. Since you ask me what I wish, that is my answer. I don't make merry myself at Christmas time, and I can't afford to make idle people merry. I help to support the establishments I have mentioned. They cost enough, and people who are badly off must go there.
Many can't go there, and many would rather die.
Well, if they would rather die, they had better do it and decrease the surplus population. It's not my business. It's enough for a man to understand his own business and not to interfere with other people's. Mine occupies me constantly. Good afternoon, ladies.
Got a rusty man, gentlemen.
No, out with you, out. You'll be wanting the whole day tomorrow, I suppose?
It's quite convenient, sir.
Well, it's not convenient and it's not fair. If I was to stop half a crown for it, you consider yourself ill-used. Yet you do not consider me ill-used when I pay a day's wages for no work.
But it's only once a year, sir.
A poor excuse for picking a man's pocket every 25th of December. But if you must have the whole day, be here all the earlier next morning.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Humbug.
Scrooge took his usual melancholy dinner in his usual melancholy tavern and went home to bed. He lived in chambers that once belonged to his deceased partner. They were a gloomy suite of rooms in a lowering pile of building, up a yard where it had so little business to be that one could scarcely help but fancy that it had run there when it was a young house playing hide and seek with all the other houses and got its way out again.
It was old enough now and dreary enough, for nobody lived in it but Scrooge. The yard was so dark that even Scrooge, who knew every stone, had to grope about with his hands. Half a dozen gas lamps in the street wouldn't have lit that house, so you may well imagine it was rather dark with just Scrooge's candle. And he didn't care a button for that. Darkness was cheap. Scrooge liked it.
Humbug, I don't believe it. Humbug, I tell you. Oh, what do you want with me?
Much.
Who are you?
Ask me who I was.
Who are you then? You're particular for a shade?
In life, I was your partner, Jacob Marley. But you don't believe in me.
I don't.
What evidence would you have of my reality beyond that of your senses?
I don't know.
Why do you doubt your senses?
Because a little thing upsets them. A slight disorder of the stomach makes them cheats. You may be a bit of undigested beef, a blot of mustard, a crumb of cheese, a fragment of an underdone potato. There's more of gravy than of grave about you, sir, whoever you are. Do you see this toothpick?
I do.
You're not looking at it.
Yet I see it, notwithstanding.
Well, I have but to swallow this and be for the rest of my life persecuted by a legion of goblins, all of my own creation. Humbug.
Humbug.
Dreadful apparition. Oh, why do you trouble me?
Man of the worldly mind, do you believe in me or not?
I do. I must, but why do spirits walk the earth, and why do they come to me?
It's required of every man that the spirit within him should walk abroad among his fellow men and travel far and wide. And if that spirit does not go forth in life, it is condemned to do so after death. It is doomed to wander through the world. Oh, woe is me, and witness what it cannot share, but might have shared on earth and turned to happiness.
You are fettered. Tell me why.
I wear the chain I forged in life. I made it link by link, yard by yard. I got it on of my own free will, and of my own free will I wore it. Is its pattern strange to you? Or would you know the weight and length of the strong coil you bear yourself? It was full as heavy and as long as this 7 Christmas Eves ago. You have labored on it since it is a ponderous chain.
Jacob, oh Jacob Marley, tell me more. Speak comfort to me, Jacob.
I have none to give. It comes from other regions, Ebenezer Scrooge, and is conveyed by other ministers to other kinds of men. Nor can I tell you what I would. Very little more is all that is permitted me. I cannot rest, I cannot stay, I cannot linger anywhere. My spirit never walked beyond our counting house, mark me. In life, my spirit never roved beyond the narrow limits of our money-changing hole, and weary journeys lie before me.
You must have been very slow about it, Jacob.
Slow?
7 years dead and traveling all the time?
The whole time. No rest, no peace, incessant torture of remorse.
You travel fast?
On the wings of the wind.
You might have gone over a great quantity of ground in 7 years, Jacob.
Oh, not to know that no space of regret can make amends for one's life misused. Yet such was I. Oh, such was I.
You were always a good man of business, Jacob.
Business. Mankind was my business. The common welfare was my business. Charity, mercy, forbearance, and benevolence were all my business. The dealings of my trade were but a drop of water in the comprehensive ocean of my business. Why did I walk through crowds of fellow beings with my eyes turned down and never raise them to that blessed star that led the wise men to a poor abode? Oh, were there no poor homes to which this light could have conducted me? Hear me, my time is nearly gone.
I will, Jacob, but don't be hard upon me. Don't be flowery, pray.
How it is that I appear before you in a shape you can see, I may not tell. I have sat invisible beside you many and many a day. That is no small, light part of my penance. I am here tonight to warn you that you have yet a chance and a hope of escaping my fate. A chance and a hope of my procuring, Ebenezer.
Oh, Jacob Marley, you were always a good friend to me.
You will be haunted by 3 spirits.
Is this the chance and hope you mentioned?
It is.
Well, I think I'd rather not.
Without their visits, you cannot hope to shun the path I tread. Expect the first tomorrow when the bell tolls 1.
Couldn't I take them all at once, Jacob, and have it over?
Expect the second on the next night at the same hour. The third upon the next night when the last stroke of 12 has ceased to vibrate. Look to see me no more, and look that, for your own sake, you remember what has passed between us. Remember, Scrooge. Remember.
Come back. Are you the spirit, miss, whose coming was foretold to me?
I am.
Who and what are you?
I'm the ghost of Christmas past.
Long past?
No, your past.
What business brings you here?
Your welfare.
Well, I should think that an unbroken night's rest would be more conducive to that end.
Your reclamation, then. Take heed, rise, and walk with me.
But I am a mortal and liable to fall.
Bear but a touch of my hand there, and you shall be upheld in more than this.
As the words were spoken, they passed through the wall and stood upon an open country road with fields on either side. The city and the darkness and the mist had entirely vanished, and it was a cold, clear winter day with snow upon the ground.
I was bred here. I was a boy here.
Your lip is trembling. What's that upon your cheek?
Nothing. A pimple.
You recollect the way?
Remember it? I could walk it blindfold.
Strange to have forgotten it for so many years. Let us go on.
I know these boys. I went to school with them. Hello.
No, these are but shadows of things that have been. They have no consciousness of us.
Out upon them.
The school is not quite deserted. A solitary child, neglected by his friends, is left there still.
Yes, poor child. I wish... No, it's too late now.
What's the matter?
There was a child singing a Christmas carol outside my door last night. I should like to have given her something, that's all.
Well, let us see another Christmas.
The space of years dissolved before them and disclosed a bare, melancholy room, made barer still by lines and plain deal forms and desks. And at one of these, a lonely boy was reading near a feeble fire, and Scrooge sat down upon a form and wept to see his former self as he used to be.
Ebenezer, I've come to bring you home, dear brother, to bring you home. Home, little town? Yes, home forever and ever. Home for good and all. Father is so much kinder than he used to be, and home is like heaven. He spoke so gently to me one dear night when I was going to bed, and I was not afraid to ask him if he might come home once more. He said, yes, you should. He sent me in coach to bring you. You're to be a man, and you're to never come back here. But first to spend Christmas all year long and have the merriest time in all the world.
Bring down Master Scrooge's box there.
Always a delicate creature, whom a breath might have withered, but she had a large heart.
That she had. You are right, Spirit. I will not gainsay it, God forbid.
She died a woman, and had, I think, children?
One child.
True. Your nephew.
Yes, my nephew.
My time grows short. Do you know this place?
Know it. I was apprenticed here. Why, it's so old Mrs. Fezziwig, bless her heart, Mrs. Fezziwig alive again.
Yo-ho there, Ebenezer, Dick!
Dick Wilkins, to be sure. He was very much attached to me, was Dick.
Yo-ho, my boys! No more work tonight. Christmas Eve, Dick. Christmas, Ebenezer. Let's have the shutters up before a man can see Jack Robinson. Clear away, my lads. Let's have lots of room here. Gilly-ho, Dick. Cheer up, Ebenezer.
Yo-ho!
Well, such a small matter to make these silly folks so full of gratitude.
Small?
Oh, is it not? She spent but a few pounds of your mortal money, 3 or 4, perhaps. Is it really so much that she deserves all this praise?
That isn't it. That isn't it, Spirit. This woman has the power to make us happy or unhappy, to make our service light or burdensome, a pleasure or a toil. Her power lies in words and looks so slight and insignificant that it is impossible to add and count them up. But the happiness she gives is quite as great as if it cost a fortune.
So, what's the matter?
Nothing.
No, something, I think.
No. I should like to be able to say a word or two to my clerk just now. That's all.
Well, quickly.
It matters little. To you, very little. Another idol has displaced me. And if it can cheer and comfort you in time to come, as I would have tried to do, I have no just cause to grieve.
What idol has displaced you?
A golden one.
This is the even-handed dealing of the world. There is nothing on which it is so hard as poverty, and there is nothing it professes to condemn with such severity as the pursuit of wealth.
You fear the world too much. All your hopes have merged into the hope of being beyond the chance of its sordid reproach. I have seen your nobler aspirations fall off one by one until the master passion gain engrosses you. Have I not?
What then? Even if I have grown so much wiser, what then? I am not changed towards you, am I?
Our contract is an old one. It was made when we were both poor and content to be so, until, in good season, we could improve our worldly fortune by a patient industry. You are changed. When it was made, you were another man.
I was a boy.
Your own feeling tells you you are not what you were. I am. How often and how keenly I have thought of this, I will not say. It is enough that I have thought of it and can release you.
Have I ever sought release?
In words, no. Never.
In what, then?
In a changed nature. In an altered spirit. Another atmosphere of life. Another hope as its great end. In everything that made my love of any worth or value in your sight. If this had never been between us, tell me, would you seek me out and try to win me now?
You think not?
I would gladly think otherwise if I could. Heaven knows. But if you were free today, tomorrow, yesterday, can I believe you would choose a dowerless girl? You, who weigh everything by gain. Or choosing her for a moment you're false enough by your one guiding principle to do so. Do I not know your repentance and regret would surely follow? I do. And I release you with a full heart for the love of him you once were. You may, the memory of what is past half makes me hope you will, have pain in this. A very, very brief time, and you will dismiss the recollection of it gladly, as an unprofitable dream from which it happened well that you awoke. Goodbye, Ebenezer. May you be happy in the life you've chosen.
Show me no more, and conduct me home. Why do you delight to torture me?
One shadow more.
No more, no more. I don't wish to see it. No more.
I told you. These were but shadows of things that have been, that they are what they are. Do not blame me. Do not blame me.
Awakening in the middle of a prodigiously tough snore, Scrooge established a sharp lookout all round the bed, for he wished to challenge the spirit on the moment of its appearance and did not want to be taken by surprise. Now, being prepared for almost anything, he was not by any means prepared for nothing.
1:15. Half past. A quarter to it. The hour itself and nothing else.
Scrooge! Ha ha! Scrooge! Come in! Come in and know me better, man. Look upon me. You've never seen the like of me before.
Never.
Have never walked among these many years with the younger members of my family. I mean to say, for I am very young, with my elder brothers all these later years.
I don't think I have. I fear I have not. Have you had many brothers, Spirit?
Oh, more than 1,800.
A tremendous family to provide for, Spirit. Conduct me where you will. Last night I went forth on compulsion, and I learnt a lesson which is working now. Tonight, if you have anything to teach me, let me profit by it.
Oh, touch my robe.
Is there a peculiar flavor in what you sprinkle from your torch?
Ah, there is my own.
Would it apply to any kind of dinner on this day?
To any kindly given, a poor one most.
Why to a poor one most?
Because it needs it most. Here, look here, look here.
What has ever got your precious father then? And your brother Tiny Tim? And Martha wasn't as late last Christmas Day by half an hour.
Here's Martha, Mother.
Here's Martha, Mother. Hurrah, Martha. There's such a goose, Martha.
Why, bless your heart alive, my dear, how late you are.
We had a deal of work to finish up this morning. We had to clear away last night, Mother.
Well, never mind, so long as you are come. Sit ye down by the fire, my dear, and have a warm. Lord bless ye.
No, there's father coming. Hide, Martha, hide.
Deck the halls with tis the season to be jolly. Why, where's our Martha?
Not coming.
Not coming upon Christmas Day.
Here I am, Father.
Tim comes to the goose.
There never was such a goose.
And how did little Tim behave?
As good as gold and better. Well, somehow he gets thoughtful sitting by himself so much and thinks the strangest things you've ever heard. He told me coming home that he hoped the people saw him at church because he was a cripple, and it might be pleasant for them to remember upon Christmas Day who made lame beggars walk and blind men see. I believe, my dear, he's growing stronger every day.
Hurrah for the goose!
A Merry Christmas to us all, my dears. God bless us.
God
bless us.
God bless us.
God bless us, everyone.
Spirit, tell me if Tiny Tim will live.
Oh, I see a vacant seat by the poor chimney corner and a crutch without an owner, carefully preserved.
Oh,
If
no.
these shadows are unaltered by the future, the child will die.
Oh, no, Spirit. Say Tiny Tim will live.
If these shadows are unaltered by the future, none of my kind shall find him here. But what of that? If he be like to die, then he had better do it and decrease the surplus population. Man, if man you be in your heart, forbear that wicked cant until you discover what the surplus is and where it is. You be one to decide what men shall live and what men shall die. It may be that in the sight of heaven, you are more worthless and less fit to live than millions like this poor man's child.
Mr. Scrooge, I give you Mr. Scrooge, the founder of the feast.
The founder of the feast, indeed. I wish I had him here. I'd give him a piece of my mind to feast upon, and I hope he would have a good appetite for it.
My dear, the children, Christmas Day.
It should be Christmas Day, I am sure, on which one drinks the health of such an odious, stingy, hard and unfailing man as Mr. Scrooge is. You know he is, Robert. No one knows it better than you do, poor man.
My dear, Christmas Day.
I'll drink his health for your sake, and the day's, not for his. A long life to him. A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I am sure he'll be very merry and very happy. I have no doubt.
Hello, Belle.
Hello, darling.
I saw an old friend of yours this afternoon.
You did? Who was it?
Guess.
How can I? Let me see. Mr. Scrooge?
Mr. Scrooge it was. I passed his office window, and as it was not shut up, and he had a candle on inside, I could scarcely help seeing him. He's quite alone since the death of his partner. Quite alone in the world, I do believe.
He said that Christmas was a humbug, as I live, and he believed it too.
Oh, he didn't. More shame for him, Fred.
He is a comical old fellow, and that's the truth. And not so pleasant as he might be, however, his offenses carry their own punishment, and I have nothing to say against him.
I'm sure he is very rich, Fred. At least you always tell me so.
What of that? His wealth is of no use to him. He doesn't do any good with it. He doesn't make himself comfortable with it. He hasn't the satisfaction of thinking he's going to benefit us with it.
I have no patience for him.
Oh, I have. I am sorry for him. I couldn't be angry with him if I tried. Well, who suffers by his ill whims but himself, always? Here, he takes it into his head to dislike us and not come dine with us. What's the consequence? He doesn't lose much of a dinner.
Oh, indeed. I think he loses a very good dinner.
Well, I'm very glad to hear it, because I haven't much great faith in these young housekeepers. What say you, Topper?
No. A bachelor like me is a wretched outcast who has no right to express an opinion on the subject.
Do go on, Fred. He never finishes what he begins to say.
I was only going to say that the consequence of him taking a disliking to us and not making merry with us is that he loses out on some pleasant moments which could otherwise do him no harm. I mean to give him the same chance every year, whether he likes it or not, for I pity him. He may rail at Christmas till he dies, but he can't help thinking any better of it. I defy him. If he finds me going there in good temper, year after year, saying, "Uncle Scrooge, how are you?" If it only puts him in the vein to leave his poor clerk £50, then that's something.
Yeah, here, let's have a game.
Oh, a game, yes.
How about yes and no?
My favorite. You start, Fred.
All right. I've got one.
Is it an animal?
What else?
Is it a live animal?
Yes.
A disagreeable animal?
Yes, very.
Oh, I know. Is it a savage animal?
Possibly.
Does he live in London?
Yes.
Does it growl?
Yes.
Ooh, does it grunt?
Sometimes.
Does it talk?
Sometimes.
Does it walk the streets?
Yes.
Does it live in a menagerie?
Heavens, no.
Oh.
Well, then is it taken to market?
No.
Does it perform in a show?
No.
It must be a horse.
No.
I know. It's a pig.
Wrong again.
Oh, come on.
It has to be a bear.
No.
Wait. I know what it is. I know what it is, friend. I've guessed it. I know what it is.
What is it?
It's your Uncle Scrooge.
Yes. Oh, yes, it most certainly is. Right you are.
Oh, how naughty.
Oh, Fred. I said, is it a bear? You ought to have said yes.
Uncle Scrooge has given us plenty of merriment, I am sure. And it would be ungrateful not to drink his health. And I say, Uncle Scrooge.
Uncle Scrooge.
Uncle Scrooge.
A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to the old man, whatever he is.
Becky. Are spirits' lives so short then?
No, my time on this globe is very brief. It ends tonight.
Tonight?
Tonight at midnight. Oh, hark. The time is drawing near.
Forgive me if I am not justified in what I ask, but there is something strange and not belonging to yourself protruding from your skirt. Is it a foot or a claw?
It might be a claw for all the flesh that is upon it. Look! Look! Look down here!
Spirit, are they yours?
No, they are man's, and they cling to me, appealing from their fathers. This boy is ignorance, and this girl want. Beware them both, and all of their degree, but most of all, beware this boy. For on his brow I see that which is written doom, unless the writing be erased.
Have they no refuge or resource?
Are there no prisons? Are there no workhouses?
I am in the presence of the ghost of Christmas yet to come. Yeah, you are about to show me the shadows of things that have not happened, but that will happen in the time before us. Is that so, Spirit? Ghost of the future, I fear you more than any specter I have seen. But as I know that your purpose is to do me good, and as I hope to live to be a better man from what I am, I am prepared to bear you company and do it with a thankful heart. Will you not speak to me? Lead on, Spirit, for the night is waning fast, and I know it is precious time to me. Lead on.
No, I don't know much about it either way. I only know he's dead.
When did he die?
Last night, I believe.
What was the matter with him? I thought he'd never die.
God knows. What has he done with his money?
Left it to his company, perhaps. He hasn't left it to me. That's all I know.
It's likely to be a very cheap funeral, for upon my life, I cannot think of anybody to go to it. Suppose we make up a party and volunteer.
I don't mind going if lunch is provided, but I must be fed. When I come to think of it, I'm not at all certain I wasn't his most particular friend, for we used to stop and speak whenever we met. Goodbye, sir.
I know these men, good men of business, but what have they to do with me? Will you not speak to me?
So, old Scratch has got his own at last.
Oh, yeah, ducks. Here's a chance if we three haven't all met here without meaning it.
You couldn't have met in a better place. Come into the parlor. We're all suitable to our calling. We're all well matched. Come into the parlor. What odds then? What odds, Mrs. Dilber?
Everyone's got a right to take care of themselves. He always did.
Oh, that's true. No man more so.
Why then? Don't stand there staring as if you were afraid, woman. Who's the wiser? Not here to pick holes in each other's coats, are we?
No, indeed.
Oh, very well then. That's enough. Who's the worse for the loss of a few things like these? Not a dead man, I suppose.
No, indeed.
If you wanted to keep him after he was dead, the mean old screw, why wasn't he more natural in his lifetime? If he had been, he'd have had somebody to look after him when he was struck with death. instead of lying there gasping out his last alone by himself.
Yeah.
Gasping. Oh, it's the truest word that was ever spoke. It's a judgment on him. I wish it wasn't ever a judgment. And it would have been if I could have laid my hands on anything else. Open me bundle, Josephine. Let me know the value of it. Speak out plain. I'm not afraid to be the first, nor afraid for them to see it. We pretty much knew we was helping ourselves when we met up here, I believe. It's no sin. Open me bundle, Josephine.
No! Open mine first. It's the smallest.
A seal, a pencil case, ooh, a pair of sleeve buttons, and a brooch. No great value there. 10 shillings, and I wouldn't give another 6pence if I was to be boiled for not doing it. Who's next, Mrs. Delba? Sheets and towels and ooh, 2 silver teaspoons and gloves, a pair of sugar tongs and a few boots. I always give too much to ladies. It's a weakness of mine, and that's the way I ruin myself. Hey. If you ask me for another penny, I'll knock off half a crown.
Now undo my bundle, Josephine.
What do you call this? Bed curtains?
Bed curtains.
You don't mean to say you took them down, rings and all, with him lying there?
Of course I did. Why not?
You were born to make your fortune, and you'll certainly do it.
Oh, you something. I certainly shan't hold my hand when I can get anything in it by reaching it out again for the sake of a man as such as he was. Oh, I promise you that. Hey, don't be dropping that oil on the blankets now.
His blankets?
Whose else's do you think? He ain't likely to catch cold without him.
Oh, I hope he didn't die of nothing catching.
Oh, don't you be afraid of that. I ain't so fond of his company that I'd loiter about him for such things if he did. Now, you may look through that shirt till your eyes ache, but you won't find a hole in it, nor a threadbare place. It's the best he had. It's a fine one, too. They'd have wasted it if it wasn't for me.
What do you call wasting of it?
Putting it on him to be buried in.
Oh!
He was fool enough to do it. Oh, but I took it off again. If calico ain't good enough for that, it ain't good enough for anything. Look any uglier than he did in that one.
Oh, yes. Oh, my. Oh, and it's the end of it, you see. He frightened everyone away from him in life, only to profit us when he was dead.
I see, Spirit. The case of this unhappy man might be my own. My life tends that way now. What is this? Spirit, this is a fearful place. In leaving it, I shall not leave its lesson. Trust me. Let us go. And I understand you, and I would do it if I could, but I have not the power. I have not the power, Spirit. If there is a person in the town who feels emotion caused by the death of this man, show that person to me. I beseech you.
Is it good or bad?
Bad.
Then we are quite ruined.
No, there's hope yet, Caroline.
Will he relent?
He's past relenting. He's dead.
Oh, thank God. Forgive me.
Do you remember when I went to see him last week to obtain a week's delay? The woman at his house told me he was very ill, which I thought was merely an excuse to avoid me. But it turns out to have been quite true. He was not only very ill, but dying even then.
To whom will our debt be transferred?
I don't know. But before that time, we'll be ready with the money. And even though we are not, we'd find it a bad fortune indeed to find so merciless a creditor in his successor. We may sleep with light hearts, Caroline.
Show me some tenderness connected with the death, or that dark chamber spirit that we left just now will haunt me forever.
And he took the child and set him into the midst of them.
The color hurts my eyes. They get weak in the firelight. They're better now again. I would not want to show weak eyes to your father when he gets home for the world. It must be near his time.
Past it rather, but he's been walking a little slower these past few evenings, Mother.
I've known him walk upon Tiny Tim's shoulder very fast indeed.
And so have I. Often.
But he was very light to carry. And his father loved him so that it was no trouble. Oh, there's your father at the door.
Don't mind it, Father.
Don't be grieved.
So you went today, Robert?
Yes, my dear. I wish you could have gone. It would have done you good to see how green a place it is. But you'll see it often. I promised him that I would walk there on a Sunday. My little child. My little child. Walking home, I met Scrooge's nephew, Fred. He really is the kindest fellow. And he asked what distressed me. And he said, I'm utterly sorry for it, Mr. Cratchit. And utterly sorry for your good wife. By the by, however he knew that, I don't know.
Knew what, my dear?
Why, that you were a good wife.
Everybody knows that.
Very well observed, my boy. I'm sure they do. Utterly sorry, he said, for your good wife. And if I can be any assistance to you, he said, handing me his card. That's where I live. Pray come to me. Now, it wasn't for the sake of anything he might be able to do for us, so much as his kind way. It really seemed as if he had known our poor Tiny Tim and felt with us.
I'm sure he's a good soul.
You'd be sure of it, my dear, if you saw him and spoke to him. I shouldn't be at all surprised if you got Peter a better situation.
Did you hear that, Peter?
And Peter will be keeping company with someone instead of for himself.
Not wrong with you.
It's just as likely as not one of these days, though there's plenty of time for that. But, however, and whenever we part from one another, I'm sure we shall none of us forget poor Tiny Tim, shall we? Or this
No,
first
never.
party that were among us.
No, never, Father.
And I know, my dears, that when we recollect how patient and how mild he was, although he was just a little child, we shall not quarrel easily among ourselves and forget poor Tiny Tim in doing it.
No, never, Father.
I'm very happy. I'm very happy.
Spirit, something informs me that our parting moment is at hand. I know it, but I know not how. Tell me what man that was whom we saw lying dead. Before I draw nearer to that stone at which you point, answer me one question. Are these the shadows of things that will be, or are they shadows of things that may be only? Men's courses may foreshadow certain ends to which, if persevered in, they must lead, but if the courses be departed from, the ends will change. Say it is thus with what you show me. Am I that man we saw lying dead? No, no, no. Spirit, hear me. I am not the man I was. I will not be the man I would have been. Kind Spirit, why show me this if I am past all hope? Pity me. Assure me that I yet may change the shadows you have shown me by an altered life. I will honor Christmas in my heart, and I will try to keep it all the year. I will live in the past, the present, and the future. The spirits of all three will strive within me. I will not shut out the lessons that they teach. Tell me I may scrub away the writing on this stone. I will live in the past, the present, and the future. The spirits of all three shall strive within me. Oh, Jacob Marley. Heaven and the Christmas time be praised for this. And I say it on my knees, old Jacob. They are not torn down. They are not torn down, rings and all. There's the door by which the ghost of Jacob Marley entered. And there's the corner where the ghost of Christmas past stood. It's all good. It's all right. It's all true. It all happened. They are here. I am here. The shadows of the things that might have been may be dispelled. They will be. I know they will. Well, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I am as light as a feather. I am as happy as an angel. Oh, I am as merry as a schoolboy. I am giddy as a drunken man. Oh, Merry Christmas to everybody. And to all the world, a happy new year. Well, I don't know what day of the month it is. I don't know I don't know. I don't know how long I've been among the spirits. I don't know anything. I'm quite a baby. That's all right. Never mind. I'd rather be a baby. Hello. What's today? What's today, my fine fellow?
Why today? Today's Christmas Day.
It's Christmas Day. I haven't missed it. Well, the spirits have done it all in one night. Well, they can do anything they like. Of course they can. Of course they can. Hello. My good fellow.
Hello.
Do you know the poulterers in the next street but one at the corner?
I should hope I did.
An intelligent boy. A remarkable boy. Can you tell me if they've sold the prize turkey that's hanging there? Not the little prize turkey, but the big one.
What? The one as big as me?
What a delightful boy. A remarkable boy. It's a pleasure to talk to him. Yes, my buck.
It's hanging there now.
It is? Good. Go and buy it.
What?
No, I am in earnest. Go and buy it and tell them to bring it back here that I may give direction where to take it. Come back with the man and I'll give you a shilling. Come back in less than 5 minutes and I'll give you a half a crown. Well, I'll send it to Bob Cratchit's. He shan't know who sends it. Why, it's twice as big as Tiny Tim. Oh, hello. Good morning to you, madam. I hope you succeeded yesterday. It was very kind of you. Merry Christmas to you.
Mr. Scrooge?
Yes, that is my name, and I fear it may not be pleasant to you. But allow me to ask your pardon. And would you have the goodness to...
Lord bless me! My dear Mr. Scrooge, are you serious?
Not a farthing less. There's many a back payment included in it, I assure you. Can you do me that favor?
My dear sir, I don't know what to say. It's such generosity.
Well, then say nothing. Will you come and see me? Please come and see me.
Yes, sir. I will, sir. Thank you.
And I thank you 50 times. I thank you 50 times. Bless you. Merry Christmas.
Oh my.
Fred?
Lord bless me, who is that?
It is I, your Uncle Scrooge. I've come to dinner. Will you let me in?
Let you in? Why, nothing would make us happier.
Scrooge was early at the office the next morning. He wanted to be there first and catch Bob Cratchit coming late. That was the thing he had set his heart upon, and he did it. The clock struck 9. No Bob. 1:15. No Bob. He was a full 18 minutes and a half behind his time.
What do you mean coming in here at this time of day?
I'm very sorry, sir. I'm behind my time.
Yes, you are. Yes, I believe you are. Step this way, sir.
I'm very sorry, sir. It shall not be repeated. I was making rather merry yesterday.
Yes, well, my friend, I have had more of this than I can stand, and therefore, I'm about to raise your salary. Merry Christmas, Bob. And a merrier Christmas, Bob, my good fellow, than I have given you in many a year. I shall raise your salary and endeavor to assist your struggling family. And we will discuss your affairs this very afternoon over a Christmas bowl of smoking bishop, Bob. Make up the fires and buy another coal scuttle before you dot another I, Bob Cratchit.
Better than his word. He did it all, and infinitely more. And to Tiny Tim, who did not die, he was a second father. He became as good a friend, as good a master, as good a man, as a good old city knew, or any other good old city, town, or borough in the good old world.
Some people laughed to see the alteration in him, but he let them laugh, and little heeded them. For he was wise enough to know that nothing ever happened on this globe for good, at which some people did not have their fill of laughter in the outset. His own heart laughed, and that was quite enough for him.
He had no further dealings with spirits, but ever afterwards it was said of him that he knew how to keep Christmas well, if any man alive possessed the knowledge. May that be truly said of us all, and to all of us, and so, as Tiny Tim observed.
God bless us, everyone!
God rest ye merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. Remember Christ our Savior was born on Christmas Day, to save us all from Satan's power when we were gone astray. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy. Now to the Lord sing praises, all you within this place, and with true love and brotherhood each other now embrace. This holy tide of Christmas doth bring redeeming grace. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings